I did over 50 town halls last year, and I listened, and that's what's dictating what I'm talking about, because healthcare is personal to everyone, and they are very worried about what's going on. They're concerned because they were promised repeal and replace, so they assumed that the Republicans had a better idea. As it turned out, that was just a bumper sticker. They didn't have a better idea, and they couldn't even get enough Republican votes for what their idea was because it was going to be so damaging. So there's some anxiety about it, and I want to reassure people that I get that, and that the protections that are in the law that they've come to appreciate and want to hold on to, that I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure they stay in place. And it's such a contrast because of Josh Hawley's lawsuit and his position on it. I do think that immigration is also important, and I've talked a lot about securing the border in a twist that I think probably surprised some people. The same Border Patrol agents that endorsed President Trump endorsed me in this race, not Josh Hawley, because I've been to the border and I've gone on night patrol with the agents, and I've taken the time to listen to what they think they need to secure the border, which includes technology, more lateral access roads, more personnel, and some more barriers, but not barriers in some places where it makes no sense. So that's the position that I have taken, and I certainly support securing the border. And I think we have some ideas about how we can deal with some of these large migrant caravans. I think the thing we need to do is to surge resources for judges. I mean, we've got DHS that is still using paper files for court in these cases. Fewer than 400 judges assigned to handle all these legal claims that the law requires us to hear. We need to have more judges, we need to modernize the system, and we need to move some of these decisions into embassies in Mexico so that we could actually capture the migrants, take their information, maybe use technology to actually have expedited court proceedings so that their claims could be heard in a much more expeditious manner. And I think that makes a lot more sense than some of the proposals that the president has made.
Senator McCaskill, you alluded to the fraudster in your Columbia office here, but it didn't come up in the debate last night. Was it that there was no opportunity, or did you think that it was a thing that the statewide audience wanted to know about?
Well, I'm old-fashioned about debates. I actually answer the questions that are asked. I know that my opponent did not, but I actually just answered the questions that were asked, and that question wasn't asked. Doesn't mean I don't think it's important. And here's what I want to make sure everybody understands about this. I don't care. I mean, I did 50 town halls, most of them in red counties. I open the doors to anybody who wants to come in. They can ask any question they want. There's nothing that was disclosed on those tapes that was a surprise to anybody in Missouri. They know my positions on those issues. I talk about them all the time. What is really important about what happened is the methods that were used and the illegalities associated with them. This is someone who came in under a fraudulent identity, embedded themselves in our campaign for weeks and weeks, lying about who they were, lying about what they were doing, and what is most startling is they accessed our computers for hours on end. I don't know what that had to do with secret hidden videos, if that's the reason they were ostensibly there. So what were they doing on our computers for 20 hours? And that is obviously a violation of the Merchandisers Practicing Act. It is using fraud for purposes that are not connected with what the charity is supposed to be for. And that's why I think it's so important that the legal complaint that's been made be answered by the Attorney General's office. I was frankly really surprised when Josh Hawley started promoting these videos that were obtained by fraud, and without even learning what the facts were about how they were actually accessed. So I think this is a case where some real questions need to be asked of the Attorney General. Don't you think the severity of the facts that we now have with sworn affidavits presented to his office deserve having somebody take a look at the crimes that may have been committed?
Last night